right now nothing is available, so we have to develop for this. So the channel models which we have to develop for the resource allocation. So this is going to be one research problem. Radio multiplexing techniques. So radio access technology. This is another problem. Efficient spectrum usage techniques. So to improve the spectrum efficiency, this is one more problem. I have seen the spectrum efficiency and energy efficiency, they are addressed together as a single problem, as a trade-off. So what happens when we try to achieve the spectrum efficiency, we lose the energy consumption, we lose the energy saving. When we try to save the energy, we lose the spectrum efficiency. So somehow people are trying to find out the trade-off in between these two, and then they try to say that this method or this novel algorithm uh, is helping to achieve a trade-off between optimized spectrum as well as optimized energy efficiency. The main important part is the hardware implementation. This is very important. So if we have the grants, we can develop some lab test setups. Uh, with the collaboration, this could be done because right now the setups are not available for sixth generation. So maybe we can think of starting with the simulations and then mathematical models. Later we can look at the hardware implementation. Once 5G is in the field, people will start supplying some kind of academic equipments for the hardware implementation also. AI, along with all the, so anything we do now, it is going to be with AI in sixth generation. So machine learning will be there as a mandatory requirement. One more thing is people are looking at capex and opex reduction techniques. So this, what do I mean by capex? That means capital expenditure, and opex, that means operational expenditure. So for an example, if I buy a car, so I have to pay 20 lakhs rupees. So that's called the capex. 20 lakh is the capital expenditure, and then every year I have to maintain it. Let's say 30,000 or 25,000 rupees every year for maintenance purpose. So that's called operational expenditure. Now in sixth generation, we are going to have too many stations because the range is low. So definitely we have to cover too many stations to extend the reach. So capital expenditure is going to be very high. Also, when you have too many equipments in the field, operational expenditure is going to be again very high. Operational expenditure is also again it's going to be very high. So people are also trying to look at some kind of trade-off between these two. So this is again very open problem here. But this would come a little bit later into the picture once we have all these things ready. Once these things are ready, and then we can think about the capex, apex, operational expenditure, and other things. Specific application, and now this kind of a thing is like a custom user requirement. So specifically, we can define some of the customer-based specific parameters, and then we focus on those parameters only, and then try to provide a solution. This is kind of an industrial approach when you have some kind of a consultancy projects. Correct. This all are the academic research approaches, and the last two are the industrial approaches. When you have some kind of a, if you're targeting some kind of a consultancy projects with the industry, so these two are the approaches what they look for. They define the customer requirements, and then we have to find a solution around that only. We cannot find a solution what we want, but what the customer is looking for, that's the thing only we have to deliver. So this kind of a consultancy projects can be done over this. This I've already talked about this. Please suggest these lectures to your students. They might go and they might develop. So this like a complete mathematics. We can pick up those equations, modify it, and use some closed form approximation and transform in terms of fifth generation or sixth generation, and publish the papers for machine learning. Same way, deep learning 10 lectures. So these are 10 sessions available. This is their channel. You will find it very interesting. If you don't have time, at least we can suggest to the students. They can explore it. If someone is looking for a collaboration and if you want to work together and publish papers, please welcome. We are looking for some active collaborations. So we work together if we share the students and share the credits over a paper also. So this is how we can increase the count and publish the good paper with multiple efforts, because many people look into that. So constructive criticisms will come, and then we can improve the quality of work. Programs are available here. These are Python programs available on the GitHub. So this GitHub, when you go to this particular link, there are programs available, and it's an open library, so people are supplying the code. Now the trend is changing. So far the research papers, we don't get any programs there in the research paper, so students struggle a lot. But now people have started uploading their codes on the internet, so other people can at least take a look, and I have an idea that how the people are writing the programs for machine learning and Python. So this kind of a, you can suggest and go through those particular code, and then you can look for. Now this is the end of my today's talk, and rest of the time I kept it for the question and answers. So let me know if you have any questions, madam.
Yes, sir. Here is the question, sir. Can you highlight something on Li-Fi, sir?
Okay. So Li-Fi, which aspect? So like a Li-Fi is kind of a so basic if you want to know, or it's like a, is there any specific requirement? Because what is there any, is there anything? Okay, let me cover some basics, and then we can look at the advanced one. So Li-Fi is basically visible light communication only, which is going to be in the range of 400 nanometer to 600 or 680 nanometers range. So that's what they are trying to use. So these are LED based communication. So at the source end, they used to have the LEDs, and at the destination end, they have to they used to have the photodiodes. Correct. So the idea was to have the roof LEDs, what we are using at for lighting in our rooms, or maybe street lights or anywhere. Along with the lighting, we can use that particular light to fall over a data at a photo detector, and then we can detect the signal. We can transmit the signal over this. Now, advantage is it is highly suitable for indoor applications. So which can achieve which can achieve very high data rate. Energy consumption is very low because it is LED based communication. The transmission power is also very low. The problem only is when you use it at outdoor communication, I always have a doubt how are we overcoming the sunlight issue, because sunlight will act as a noise, correct? And then we will not be able to detect the LED light because it is like completely overrun by the sunlight. So this is the issue with Li-Fi, that how are we going to apply that in the outdoor communication? But indoor communication, yeah, it is very well. And then the cost is very low because the equipments are very cheap. That's what all about the Li-Fi. And there are setups available in our lab also with Mani madam. She has a lab setup. Also, there are many other universities. They have the Li-Fi setups. So yeah, but the success is would be limited. What I afraid that would be limited to the indoor application. Any other question, madam?
Yes, sir. Another question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead, madam.
What about compatibility between 5G and 6G user equipment sets, sir?
Compatibility between 5G and new 6th generation. This is going to be difficult because the frequency bands are completely different. But the 5th generation, if you look at this, if they can extend the frequency of operation till 300 gigahertz, we can survive in 6G for a couple of years along with 5th generation, and then later we can write off the 5th G, and then we can move to the 6th generation. Right now, the frequency ranges for 5th and 5th generation is 24 to or 30 gigahertz, or maybe 24 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz, roughly near that. Whereas the equipments required for 6th generation experimentally, they are expected to run between 0.1 terahertz to 10 terahertz. So the compatibility would be only it can for a temporary phase only, that initially few of those will run at a lower terahertz segments in terms of nearly maybe 300 gigahertz or something, like 0.3 terahertz, 0.1 terahertz, 0.2 terahertz, like that. Later, moving on, we have to take this approach, bridge and rollover approach. So now we have to deploy 6th generation, and then once the 6G segment is ready, remove 5G segment. And this is what we have to do, because that's what we are doing right now. We are rolling off over 5G, and we'll remove 3G now, slowly.
Okay, sir. Next question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Can we apply machine learning in cognitive radio?
Yes, we can apply.
Yes, sir. Next question, sir.
Mhm.
What is the role of FPGA in 6G edge and distributed machine learning?
I haven't worked on the FPGA. I haven't worked on, so it's difficult to comment on that.
Okay, sir. Queries are completed, it seems, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, madam, and thank you for the questions and the opportunity to present the work here. And if anyone is interested in the collaboration and publishing some papers, please, please reach out. My mail ID is available.